Good afternoon, class. I thought I'd give a brief lecture video really pertaining to the midterm, Respondus midterm that's going to be upcoming here in the next week or so during week 8. So I'm going to show you a little information about that and make this thing kind of brief. So bear with me here momentarily. I shared the screen. All right. You should be able to see generally what you see on your end when you go in the Blackboard. A couple things to kind of keep in mind. The information about the Respondus lockdown browser again, because I talked about this before in previous videos and emails and announcement. You will find some information in your simple syllabus, but if you scroll down, you'll also find some stuff here in this particular folder labeled Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor. So when you click on it, you're going to find some helpful links, videos, and hyperlinks that you want to pay attention to if you haven't really looked at this stuff yet or if you need a refresher. Make sure that when you download the Respondus app, that you're downloading it to the device that you plan on using, meaning a Chromebook. You need to download the one for Chromebook, the one for Windows, or the one for Mac. You can't mix and match them here. Otherwise, it's going to cause some problems on your end, and you're not going to be able to complete the exam. Now, if you try to download it on a cell phone or an iPad, it will not work. So I recommend that you do not try to use an iPad or a cell phone when taking this Respondus exam. And basically, you're going to have 60 minutes. Once you hit begin, it's going to lock you in. You're not going to be able to browse the internet. You're not going to be able to use Microsoft Word. You're going to have to use the little text box that it provides you to type your information into it. It does have spell check on that box. It doesn't have grammar check, so you're going to have to, double check or triple check your grammar before submitting. Now, what I would suggest that you do is that you save often, because again, once it hits 61 minutes, if you haven't saved it or whatever you did save, that's what's going to be automatically sent. And I can only grade what is there. So if there's nothing there, it's going to grade it as an automatic 0. If you only get 2 paragraphs in, and then that's all I can grade is those 2 paragraphs. I know some of y'all are having some issues, it seems, meeting the time limit when it comes to these quizzes. Because you're emailing me and saying, hey, I ran out of time, here's my quiz, or whatever the case may be. I can't, accept that particular deal with the respondents, because everybody has 60 minutes across the board. And once those 60 minutes is up, that's it. I can't reopen it. I can't, cancel it out and let you redo it. It's a one-time deal. Start from finish, 60 minutes. So make sure that you're keeping track of your time, because they'll probably pop up about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before time limit is going to expire. You're going to have a little clock that's going to pop up and kind of count down and remind you. So that's why I say it's always good to save often and make sure that you get it, saved and loaded before the 60-minute time limit. Now, you can use outline. You can use an essay outline. You can use note cards. Again, those are optional. I'd probably use them. We will look at the topic here momentarily. You probably need at least 5 paragraphs, right? That usually, if you're trying to do the double space, because you're going to have to, monitor that. You're not going to have Microsoft Word, so you're going to have to do your own sort of double space of your paragraphs. And that usually yields, depending on the length of your paragraphs, about 2 pages. So I think I initially say however long it takes or whatever you need, but generally the better grades come between two to 3 pages. And you will get that if you come prepared with a really good filled out outline and have note cards. Now, if you don't use those things, you may be struggling. You may have some issues. Because again, once you hit start, your time is ticking. Generally, what folks usually do, they take about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes to type it. Again, this depends on how fast you can type and how fast you can critically and analytically think and read and that type stuff. And then with the remaining time, about if you go 40 minutes, they take about 10 minutes of proofreading and editing, spell check, grammar check, and then they take the last 10 minutes really just tweaking up whatever the last minute stuff they need to do, save it, and then upload it. So if you go with that sort of as your guide as it relates to time, you should be able to manage your time fairly well. If you look in your modular 3, remember grammar quiz 3 is due on Sunday, October 5th, which would be this Sunday. I have several essays still to grade throughout some classes. I know I have finished some and others, and I still have a couple more that are lingering out there. I hope to have those graded, definitely by this time next week, if not sooner. I'm hoping to have them graded by Monday. But you got to keep in mind, I'm only one person and I have 6 classes. And with this last essay, it seemed like I had assignments due from all my classes about the same time. So I'm going through and working as quickly as I can to give y'all good constructive feedback. I'm also trying to grade the quizzes because some of y'all did quiz 2 ahead of time, then you did quiz 3. Just kind of keep in mind, we only have one more quiz left that will be sort of later in the semester. After our midterm essay, we're going to get into the research aspect of the course. So basically what I'm getting at is the next 8 weeks after midterm, we don't really have too many more assignments. We have a couple components for the research paper and one more quiz and possibly one more peer review dealing with your research paper. So you want to kind of keep in mind about where your grade is at heading into October 13th, which is the official day of midterm. If you have a 59 or lower, you probably want to start thinking about going ahead and getting the withdrawal process started. Because chances are it's going to be hard to pull that grade up to a 70 or higher, which most programs of study need to have a C or higher to have a passing grade for this course, for you to officially get credit. Some of y'all have taken advantage of the extra credit opportunities. I offered 2 so far. There will probably be at least 2 more, I'm thinking, if time allows, before the semester ends. And keep in mind, I will drop either one of your lowest quiz grades or one of your lowest peer review grades as we get closer to Thanksgiving. Now, if you already have one in mind that you want me to drop now, you're going to need to email me that and tell me which one you want me to drop. Again, it can only be one of the quiz grades or one of the peer reviews, which we consider low stake assignments. The major stake assignments like the essays, I can't drop because they're really what determine the bulk of your grade. So one of those extra credit opportunities I offered, and I've been sort of keeping it open a little bit because originally I had it closed. I think it was on the 17th or the 18th of September, but some of y'all are not doing it because it really relates to the Respondus to see if you have the right equipment on your end, that type deal. And that's that verification right here. So I'm going to leave it open until October 5th, which is this Sunday. This is initially the first extra credit opportunity I gave everybody. So if you don't get it done by this Sunday, I'm not going to reopen it again. Now, the other extra credit I sent via announcement and email about the, 7 or 8 question student evaluation. Go back and look at that email and read that email. Basically, I need to see the screenshot after you hit submit, what page it takes you to. So you need to, take a snapshot of that screen and email it to me. I have to be able to see that screenshot and where it takes you for you to get the 5 points on this particular midterm essay. The last one, this first one, I'm giving you 5 points toward essay 2, which if you did it, you have your 5 points already. It's included. I will go back and check probably on the 6th, which would be this coming Monday, to see if anybody else, who hasn't done this Respondus verification for the extra credit aspect, to go back and give you 5 points on your extra credit there. Now, be careful because, again, you need to have working equipment on your end, right? You need to have a working computer, be it a laptop or a desktop. Make sure all the updates are completed before you start taking your Respondus midterm, because you don't want to have an update while you're taking it and 40 minutes into the actual exam, because how most updates do, they usually restart the computer and it shuts everything down. Once it does that, you've already supposedly began it because you have 40 minutes already in it. I can see that on my end because everything will be recorded, because you need to have your web mic and your webcam on at all times. If I can't see that web mic on and that webcam on, then it's going to flag it. It's going to, shut down. Or if it does let you continue, I can't, with good nature grade it because everybody else had their webcam and web mic on. So you make sure that you have that stuff on, so you're not getting flagged for various things and getting a 0, because this midterm essay exam is a big chunk of your grade. A 0 will hurt. So make sure you have that on. If you don't have a webcam or a web mic, or your internet is, kind of unstable at times, you're going to need to lot out some time to visit your closest Coastal Pines Technical College campus so you can use the library, the testing center, so you can use our stuff. Now, I wouldn't wait until 5:15 on the 13th to try to take this, right? Because most of our campuses close at 6 and they will kick you out. So I would at least give myself a couple hours, especially if you got you're working or whatever the case may be, you're having to travel a distance. Because if you're having to take it at the campus, well, we're only open Monday through Thursday, and it's generally 7:30 to 6 p.m. So kind of keep that in mind. The other thing, like I said, the Respondus is here. You'll click on it, and you need to read the instructions and that type stuff. I gave everybody the essay topic ahead of time. So if we click here, it's going to have that topic. And really what I'm looking for here is, this is what we call a process analysis essay. There's actually 2 different types or methods you can choose on this. You can do a how-to, sort of like a how-to video. If you think about going, we all go to YouTube and you can basically find just about anything how-to these days. Some videos are very lengthy, and then some are medium length, and some are very short. So in a lot of ways, you're kind of doing a how-to video, but you're doing it more or less as it relates to on paper in steps. That's one method you can do. You can kind of think of it as being a manual to something, giving instructions, or, a lot of folks think of it sort of like the recipe essay. because a lot of students like to do their favorite recipe. They go through step 1, step 2, step 3 of how to, bake grandma's favorite chocolate cake, or, dad's Tuesday night tacos, or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can approach it. You can do it, like in a recipe. If you have a favorite recipe, you want to go through step by step. I've had folks give how-to videos on how to change oil or transmission fluid in their truck or their car. Um, I've had folks do how-to videos about how to put together a baby crib or furniture. So, I mean, we've read these things, we've kind of done these things before. If you ever put anything together, or if you had to make anything, by scratch. So you can find a lot of, good examples if you just, go to Google and type in how to essays or process analysis essays. You may actually find some topics there that you could possibly use to help you if you're kind of running into a roadblock right now. I would say, because today's the 2nd and the 13th is not next Monday, but the Monday after, I would say, definitely by this time next week, you should have an essay outline, and note cards written. You should have a topic in mind that you want to write and type on. You don't have to wait until the actual date of midterm to do this. Meaning, if you are ready to tackle this, say on next Tuesday, and you want to go ahead and do it, by all means do it. Because again, it's a one and done thing. You're not having a rough draft already written because you're going to type this thing up from scratch. We're not doing a peer review for this one. You're not sending me or tutor.com drafts of Essay 3. Now, if you want me to look at your note cards, you can take snapshots of that and send it to me if you want me to look at those and make sure you got the right stuff on them, maybe. Or if you want to email me a draft of your outline, I can take a look at that and kind of give you some pointers. But nobody should already have a essay already written, because you're going to be typing it when you actually start the Respondus lockdown deal. Now, I had one student try to be, I don't know if she was trying to be smart about it or try to be sneaky, but it looked like she already sort of typed her paper out in a document somewhere, copied and pasted it real quick. So when she pulled up the Respondus, it already locked her in, but she already had stuff already copied and pasted. So she copied and pasted that back into the text box that the exam's going to provide, and she was done like within 10 seconds. Well, if you do it that way, that's telling me in a lot of ways you cheated because you didn't follow instructions, because you didn't type it from scratch. You're going to need at least take 30 to 40 minutes with this. So that person got a 0 on it because they didn't follow instructions. So again, you're typing this up from scratch once you hit start on the actual exam. Don't do the copy and paste and try to be sneaky with it, because I'm going to know, because most folks can't type 5 paragraphs or 2 pages in 15 minutes. So I'm going to know, if you turn something in and it's 7 minutes already, I'm going to be like, yeah, this person had something else already open, they had it saved somewhere, and they were able to drag it in. Because again, you need to have the purpose of the video deal is going to be not only to watch your movements to make sure you're not cheating, but it also watches your screen. So everywhere that you type and everywhere that you try to go on that computer, I'm going to be able to see it, and so are the proctors. And we have a copy of that. So be mindful. That's why I would say you probably want to be in a quiet place. There's not a lot of noise. You don't have a lot of background commotion, people coming in and out of your room. You don't have a bunch of crap on your wall that looks like maybe Post-it notes. They're probably going to want you to do a 360-degree view of your work area to make sure you don't have any drafts or anything like that. Again, note cards and outline is good. You can have that stuff. I just don't need to see a 2 or 3 page typed essay already written, right? And the proctor doesn't need to see that. Otherwise, they flag it and shut you down. Um, Trying to think of what else. I think that's basically it. Um, you just want to be mindful of your time. How well can you, and this is really one of those things, how well can you work under pressure within a 60-minute time frame? How well can you outline a note card, that type deal? Um, Again, some folks think they can just come into this particular type of a essay exam with all the information in their head, and some people can. A lot of people can't. You don't want to be staring at that text box for the first 25 minutes trying to figure out what you're going to type. That's why I say use your outline, use your note cards to help you get through this thing as easiest as you can. Um, so yes, that's pretty much, that's going to be the happenings um, going into next week. You just need to have that quiz 3 done by Sunday. If you want that first extra credit, for SA2, you need to have that verification, that practice, because it's going to ask you one question on that verification practice. And then get everything ready for the actual midterm before the 13th. If you can definitely take it earlier. You don't have to wait till the 13th. Now, the problem is, we get to the 13th and for whatever reason you forget to do it, then you're just going to have to live with that 0 because I can't reopen it up after the deadline for this. This is just a one-time Respondus event. Some instructors do midterm. Some instructors do final exams. Some instructors may do another, like a quiz or some other kind of type test, but I usually just do the midterm. It's easier just because we got the research paper and a lot of other stuff toward the end. And that's why I'm going to go ahead. It's open now. So you pretty much have, today's the 2nd. You have to the 13th. So you basically have really 11 days. So you have way over a week. You almost have 2 weeks. And of course, I mean, I've provided a lot of this information as it relates to the topic and stuff last week. So you had nearly 3 weeks to get prepared for this thing. It's not like I'm just springing this stuff on you now. As it relates to the other extra credit, the student evaluation or the instructional evaluation, I need that in as soon as possible so you can get the +5 for SA3. Again, I will let you know about the other extra credit opportunities as time comes along, as time is allowed for it. A lot of it is built in around the research aspect of the course when it deals with that research paper. So you'll probably start getting some more information about some of that extra credit after the 13th of October. Because basically after the 13th, we basically only have, about 8 weeks left in our semester, give or take. So that's why I say you probably want to take advantage. The extra credit obviously is optional. You don't have to do it if you don't think you need it. Most people I try to encourage to do it just in case you don't know what's going to happen between now and the first week of December. Your grade could be very high now, but by the time December comes, it could be a little lower. And had you done the extra credit, it could have provided a good cushion to your grade. Be careful about plagiarism and AI usage. We're starting to see an uptake in both. I've caught some students recently this semester using AI and plagiarizing papers. The first offense is a 0. I will have the proof. I will provide the proof. Um, Zeros usually bring your grade down at least 20 points. So that's nearly what, 2 letter grades at least. If you're foolish enough to do it a second time, no matter what your grade is, again, I will have the proof, you will fail the course automatically. And then, but that second time, there's a little bit more paperwork involved on your part and on mine because we're going to have to go Waycross and both sit before, 3 or 4 people on the college panel, president, vice president. If you're dual enrollment, you're probably going to have somebody from your school system set in. I will be there. You will be there. I will have my proof and evidence, and the powers that be are going to, read through it, look at it, and then they're going to determine whether you are suspended for a semester, a year, or if you're barred for good from this college. And the bad thing about that, if you get caught twice, it stays on your transcript. So it's hard. I mean, you're not going to be able to sponge it from your record. So it's better to not not go that route, not do it the first time because again, the zero is going to hurt, but definitely not do it the second time because now you got more dire consequences looking at you that will have a tremendous impact on your future as it relates to college level work and academics, no matter where you plan on transferring or going. Like your social security number, your transcripts stay with you, and that information will stay on those transcripts. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you have any questions between now and the 13th, again, just email me. If you have any questions, if you want me to take a look at your outline or look at some of your note cards, I'll do that. Just make sure that you um, go through the proper channels here as it relates to downloading the Respondus. Again, I can't control what's going on your end, meaning if you have Blackboard issues or password issues or computer or internet issues, I mean, that's your ball of wax at that point. The only thing I can really do with Respondus is I can log in periodically and see who's taking the test, which I may do. You probably won't know that I'm there. The proctor will be there at all times. There will be somebody there watching and recording and proctoring you because after you are done, I have that full video footage I can go back and watch. Make sure that when you do plan on taking it, it's probably going to ask you to, one, you're going to have to take a current picture of yourself. So make sure that you have proper attire on. And it's probably also going to ask for a picture of your current Coastal Pines Technical College student ID or a driver's license that has a picture of you and your full name on it that we can clearly recognize. So that's the other thing. You probably don't want to take this exam in a very dim or dark place, right? We need to have some light. We need to be able to see you. We need to be able to see that identification card, whatever it is, so you don't get flagged even before you start taking this exam, because they will flag you if they can't determine, hey, the person that's picture on the ID and the name looks different than the person that they're seeing live on camera. So you don't want to sort of do a switcheroo and have a friend or a brother or sister come in your place. It's part of the reason why we have this Respondus now, because we've had issues, over the years of people hiring or paying ghost test takers or ghost test writers and, coming in and taking their exam for them. So make sure that whoever that it is you live and in living color, as they say, completing the exam, and also you that's on that particular identification card, whether it's a student ID or a driver's license. Now, I guess if you're dual enrollment, you could probably use your current um, dual enrollment, your high school ID, as long as it has a picture of you on it, as well as your name. Otherwise, you're going to need to get a Coastal Pines student ID, or you're going to have to use your driver's permit or driver's license. Otherwise, that's that's going to be it. Nothing major besides quiz 3 and the Respondus for the next week or so, starting on probably the week of the 14th, which would be, give or take week 9, I guess. We will start getting into talking about the research paper. The first component of that's going to be the proposal. We will discuss that. The second component is going to be the series of annotated bibs that deal with your research material, your books, your journal articles, your internet sites. We'll talk a little bit more about that as the weeks go on. And then you're going to start drafting and finalizing that research paper. And that will sort of take us through the rest of October, all of November, and that little bit of December that we have. And then that's it. We're done, So 8 weeks before you know it, it's going to be Halloween. You're going to get to sleep and wake up. It's going to be Thanksgiving break. And then you're going to get to sleep and wake up, and final grades are due. And I believe the final grades will be due like December 10th or 11th, give or take. It might be a little earlier than that, but that's when I looked at the calendar last. I think that's when we are basically finishing up. I believe it's the week of December 9th. I have to double check that, but it's in our syllabus. Otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of your week. It's starting to feel like fall out there. I know it's looking a little bit doom and gloom today. It may rain. It may rain over the weekend, that type deal. But maybe we'll have a break a little bit from this hot and humid temperatures. So try to get out and enjoy yourself a little bit when you can. That kind of helps clear the mind, get a little bit of exercise, whatever you got to do, so you can come back, be a little bit more refreshed after the midterm so we can finish out the rest of our semester strong. Okay, until we talk again, I hope you have a great, wonderful Thursday, and I hope the rest of your week 7 and all week 8 goes great. And I hope you're doing well in your other classes too. Have a good day.